Hello friends. So in this video we'll be discussing Mahatma Gandhi University B.Ed Semester 2 Curriculum and Resource Development in Social Science Module 3. So Module 3 is types of curriculum and we'll be discussing 3.1 activity based, child centered and subject centered, community centered, core and hidden curriculum. And in this video, we'll be discussing just activity-centered, activity-based, child-centered and subject-centered curriculum. And the part 2 of the video will be following after this one. So let's move on to the topic. Firstly, let's look into what a curriculum is. So according to Cunningham, curriculum is a tool in the hands of the artist, that is the teacher, to mold his material, that is the pupil or the student, according to his ideal or objectives in his studio, that is the school. So briefly explained, curriculum is the tool in the hands of an artist. For a teacher, a curriculum is like a material to mold his students in his classroom. And let's look into what activity-based curriculum is. When course material is taught in the form of an activity or hands-on project, the curriculum is considered as an activity-based one. So, in activity-based curriculum, the content is taught in the form of an activity or through some kind of action. So, curriculum materials or the subject is transacted in terms of activity. Therefore, it is known as activities-based curriculum. And the subject matter is translated into activities and the knowledge is gained as an outcome and product of these activities. So at the end of this activity or the course of this action, the student learns a certain kind of knowledge or the content through doing some kind of activity. So this activity is considered as a medium for imparting knowledge, attitudes as well as skills to the student. While designing an activity in the classroom by a teacher, the following points must be remembered or taken into consideration. That is, the activities in the classroom should have a clear purpose or objective. The clear purpose or the objective should be based on the curriculum and a definite beginning and ending. It should have a beginning and it should have an ending for the course of action. Now, it should have complete and understandable directions. It should have clarity and there should not be any ambiguity in giving directions or giving instructions. Now, there should be a proper feedback mechanism. Also, a description of the technology or tool being used in the exercise is a must for the activity while being conducted in a classroom. So these things must be remembered while imparting activity-based curriculum in a classroom by a teacher. Therefore, we can avoid confusion, give more clarity to the course of action, and make proper outcome of the activity. Now, some of the advantages of activity-based curriculum can be traced as follows. First of all, it allows the kid to learn fundamentals at their own speed. Each child has his or her own pace of learning. So, when an activity is given to a child, through doing it in his or her own pace, the child is able to learn about the fundamentals in her own pace of speed of grasp, and it also facilitates learning in groups. That is, it facilitates teamwork, group discussions, group interactions, etc. It encourages self-learning. Also, the kids are involved in the process. That is, their participation allows them to pick fundamentals more fastly than through theoretical learning. Now, the evaluation is inbuilt in the system, which makes it quite child-friendly. During an activity-based curriculum, the evaluation is inbuilt in the whole activity itself. So there is no separate evaluation or assessment. So through this activity, the child will come out with learning outcomes. At the same time, the evaluation process is also completed. Now, on completing the activity, the child has a feeling of sense of accomplishment, which boosts child's confidence. Of course, it improves the confidence level of the child while doing something or while completing a course of action. The child will have improved levels of confidence. Now, it helps in the creative and communicative skills, which are bound to groom in this way of learning through interaction with other group members, through interaction with the team members, with the teacher, with through self-learning. There is creativity involved, and the interaction skills as well as the communicative skills improves profoundly. Now, it also boosts the rapid interaction between teacher and the child. It goes very well with the previous point as well. It improves the communication as well as interaction skills of the child. Now, there are some disadvantages as well for the activity-based curriculum, and they are it is very important to learn facts right. Some content, types of content has to be learned as facts itself. It should not be imparted in as a form of activity. It will ruin the whole learning outcome. So, if fundamentals and facts are not known, it doesn't help in arguments and debates. So in some types of subjects, it is very important that we know the fundamentals or the basics, so that we know the statements or the arguments that we are dealing with. Now, it may not be applicable for all subjects. Any discipline, all subjects are differ in its content, it is content delivery, teaching, learning, materials, everything. So, it may not be applicable for all subjects. Also, the success of the activity depends on many external factors like the classroom, the teaching learning materials, the teacher, the team plays, that is the members in a group that are involved, etc. Also, it is very time consuming and expensive in certain situations. So that's all about activity based curriculum. Now let's move on to child centered curriculum. So in child-centered curriculum, the center of attraction or center of the point is the child himself. So children take command of their own learning. They lead the way. It is not the teacher who is directing the way. It is the child who leads their own way. So the teacher is just a provider or supporter or a facilitator of the child's learning, but children determine the direction of their own learning following their natural curiosities, interests, and passions. Learner-oriented subjects are chosen and taught keeping in view the social, emotional, and intellectual needs of children as well as their capabilities and developmental status. So it is all about the child, how the child is leading the way, and the teacher is just a provider or a supporter or a facilitator for the child's learning. Now, some of the merits of child-centered curriculum can be traced as follows. That is, the children become independent, responsible, and confident. Now, it provides opportunity to invent and discover things together as they explore materials. When a child is doing something by himself, uh, it is uh, it can be seen that he learns many things of his own. Now, it maintains child's interest by allowing them to do what is important to them. It develops problem-solving ability. It avoid boredom for the learners. That is, it makes the whole learning process more interesting. And since the creativity and the curiosity of the learner is aroused, it avoids boredom for the learners. Now, it helps child to develop executive skills as well. Also, it helps to gain knowledge and skills in areas such as creative presentation, language fluency, initiative, and social relations. It gives importance on experience before expression. The teaching and learning is in the form of direct interaction. Now, learning by doing is given more importance. If the child himself is doing something and learning from it as an outcome of doing that. So, learning by doing is given importance, and the child learns through active participation, which is based on learning by doing. The child learns to apply the learned knowledge in its day to day life. While doing something, the child automatically learns about the whole thing in one way or the other, and he attains knowledge about the day-to-day life around him. So, some of the demerits of child-centered education are the weakness of the child-centered curriculum are chiefly the possibilities for misinterpretation. Since a child is an immature person or is a young person, there are possibilities of misinterpretations or conclusions can be drawn in an immature way, and teachers sometimes may not be prepared to adapt to the changing concepts of child development. Many a time we are not, the teachers are not prepared to adapt to the changing concepts or the needs of child development. Now, the selection of activities is very difficult. Each child is different, and the selection of activities is very difficult while imparting the child-centered education in a classroom scenario. Now, the focus of learners' interest rather than subject and topic. The main focus in child-centered education is on the child, not the subject or the topic or the curriculum or anything else. So, the overly focusing on the learners can deviate from the main learning outcomes or the main aims of the education. Now, most of the time, when child-centered education is imparted, the school values are ignored. So, those are the demerits of child-centered education. Now, let's look into the subject-centered curriculum. So, at first, we dealt about activity-based curriculum and child-centered curriculum, and the third one is subject-centered curriculum. In subject-centered curriculum, it is a traditional model, that is the conventional model laid out by Ralph Tyler in 1949 in his book Basic Principles of Curriculum and Instruction. It is also known as knowledge-centered curriculum. Uh, this is the conventional way of imparting education in a classroom, right? Through textbooks, and the content is given more importance. The subject is of the prime importance, or the curriculum is of the prime importance. The students are expected to gain mastery of subject matters from academic disciplines that have been predetermined by a panel of experts. That is, a curriculum is laid down, and the education is imparted based on the curriculum only. And in subject-centered curriculum, design revolves around a particular matter or discipline. Like I said earlier, the curriculum is already laid down, and the whole curricular design or the education or the mode of transaction lays around a particular subject matter or discipline. So the role of teacher in subject-centered curriculum is as follows. So the teacher acts as a scholar who will be using a variety of teaching strategies to share their knowledge. So a report by the Partnership for 21st Century Skills emphasizes the necessity of a teacher-led instruction to help students to gain knowledge and be able to build upon it in an organized manner. So, to impart a curriculum in an organized manner, an assistant, a provider, or a facilitator, or a scholar is needed in a classroom to assist the students. And there comes the importance of the role of teacher. And the environment in which the subject-based curriculum takes place is the traditional classroom. That is very important. The subject-centered curriculum takes place only in a traditional classroom, school classroom, where discipline is maintained and students are often expected to remain seated at their desk. There is a clear academic focus, and the stress is laid only on intellectual development. There is no other outcomes, just the intellectual development is of primary importance. Now, let's look into some of the merits of subject-centered curriculum. That is, it is beneficial to students because it intensely focuses on content area. The content is of prime importance. The child is not of prime importance. The activity is not of prime importance. The knowledge or the content given in the curriculum is of prime importance. So it helps the students to learn the facts and figures in an appropriate way. It provides a thorough and detailed view of the subject. Also, students will learn the fundamentals to challenges in the particular subject and improve and increase knowledge this way. While learning a content, the child is able to critically analyze or look into the facts and figures and learn the subject matter in a more detailed way. And the basic knowledge and thorough understanding helps the learner to widen his knowledge very easily. So those are the merits of subject-centered curriculum. And the demerits of subject-centered curriculum are as follows. That is, it ignores interest of students. There is no process of thinking or insight. Since it is a conventional method of imparting knowledge, there is no process of thinking or no creativity involved. It is completely rote memory, and it neglects social problems, and it is all about passive learning of the students. So those are the demerits of subject-centered curriculum, and the next part of this module will be followed in the part 2 of this video. That is, we will be discussing community-based core and hidden curriculum. Thank you.